What's going on, family? This is David W. Williams, the online traffic expert, and I want to talk today about issues in outsourcing. See, I was on Facebook today, and this woman I know named Princess Fish, she's a really well-known online marketer. She has her own show called The Princess Fish Show. You should probably check it out one day. You can find her on Facebook under Princess Fizz. And she was saying that she was having some issues outsourcing to where, the amount of time she was going back and forth with her outsourcer to do graphics, to do videos, to do web development was costing her so much time, it was almost as if she was doing a job herself. So she was asking for suggestions on outsourcing. And so I'd offer her up some suggestions, and I wanted to also offer these suggestions to you. So when you get in a position where you want to outsource some of your content creation or your web development or some of your graphics, some of your video production to a third party, you could avoid some of these pitfalls. And the first thing I want to talk to you about is that when you go on a lot of these websites like Elance or Odesk or sometimes freelancer.com, when you try to get the cheapest work, you try to get the most amount of work for the cheapest price, you normally are going to attract somebody that's going to cause you a lot of problems. If you want to get something done and you offer $15, $20 for it, and you know in your mind in America you got to pay $100 to get that done, you're gonna attract the person that's gonna give you the most amount of problems. So you should somewhere, if you say, okay, this job will cost $100 in America, you should probably try to offer $70 for the job. And you can still attract a good foreign-based outsourcer, but one that's gonna still do the job for you and do a good enough job where they're not gonna give you a headache. See, a lot of these websites, you're gonna find out that the Eastern Asians are going to offer you the lowest price. So the East Asians, a lot of the Indians, a lot of the Bangladesh people, a lot of the Sri Lankans, they're good people, but a lot of times they will normally offer you the lowest price for work. And sometimes because of the language barrier between yourself and those people, they do good work, but because of the language barrier, it can give you issues in trying to get the job done completed without you having to spend a lot of time going back and forth explaining things. And these people are so enthusiastic and so aggressive about their business, they'll tell you, yeah, I can do the job just because they want to get the contract because they want to get the money. And, that's how aggressive they are about their business, and I'll applaud that. But it's not always the best thing for you. So what I found sometimes is that if I go with maybe an Eastern European or sometimes even an American, and the reason why I'm outsourcing is because I just don't want to do the job, because it's really not a cash income producing activity for myself, not just because I'm trying to do it for a very cheap price. So you don't always outsource because you want to get it done cheaper. You sometimes outsource just because it doesn't make sense for you to do the job, because you can make money. Excuse me. You can make money doing something else besides web development or graphic design or video editing. So think of it from that standpoint where it's not about trying to get the job done so inexpensive, but it's about me trying to get somebody else to do the job so I can do the things that make me money. If you're going to deal with anybody through one of these websites, Odesk, freelancer.com, Elance, ask to speak to them on Skype. And when you speak to them on Skype, if you feel like you're having a language barrier and they're not really understanding what you're saying in casual conversation, you might want to ask yourself if you want to keep going further down the road and hiring them to do the job, because you're going to have issues with communication the whole time. However, I found out that the Eastern Europeans usually understand English pretty well. We know the Americans understand English pretty well. And so even though you may not be able to get the jobs done as cheaply as a person from East Asia, you can get it done without the headache of having to say, you know what, there's this big language barrier and I have to explicitly detail everything I want to that particular person, because that can take a lot of time to where you feel like I should have just went ahead and did this job myself. So if you have issues with outsourcing or you haven't outsourced yet, I wanted to give you this information and give you a heads up so you can avoid the headaches a lot of people get with outsourcing. This is David W. Williams, an online traffic expert. Peace out.